A big key for us. We've always had a slight advantage in that direction, but also it's going to be up to the teams. I think a lot of teams are going to be looking at alternate strategies, and I know some teams were a little disappointed with the performance, but it's a tight field, and I think at this point any of maybe 10 to 15 cars could win today.
Best of luck to you.
Thanks a lot.
That's Kelvin Pugh. He is the Program Management Director at HPD, and that is your HPD Engineering Update.
Colton Herta, Jack Harvey, the front row. Our driver analyst, Davey Hamilton, joins us. And, Davey, you heard our comments from the front row. Jack Harvey, very matter of fact. He said, ideally, at the start of the race, if we get the lead, we get the lead. If not, we'll settle into a race pace. That's probably a pretty good idea given what can happen through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, these two guys, Jack Harvey, we've seen the speed that he has. He could definitely get the lead from Colton Herta, but these two guys, they want to finish this race. Harvey wants to get a win, obviously. Herta had a terrible weekend last week. He wants to get to the checkered flag. But they sit in the best spot, guys. They're first and second right now. There's no reason they can't stay there. Strategy is going to be all over the map right now. But I do expect that these guys are going to take care of each other for a couple reasons as well. They're not teammates, but they are. Technically, Harvey uses the technical alliance from the Andretti Autosport team, so you hate to have basically kind of two teammates somewhat get together in the first corner. So hopefully it all plays out, but you never know what Newgarden and Pagano's, those other teammates, they could try to send it in there 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide, so they may be stuck into a bad situation. It's going to be fun to watch.
If Joseph didn't have the experience of a couple of championships under his belt, might he be the kind of guy that would take a few more risks at the start, given the fate that befell him at Barber Motorsports Park? Do you expect Joseph to kind of be a bit reserved at the start, or if he sees an opening, he's going to go?
Well, if there's an opening, he's going to take it, but it's going to be an opening that's safe. He's not going to throw a lot of risk out there. He's one that, obviously, unfortunately, I should say, he was the one that caused the incident last week. And really just caught him out. Just, he didn't do anything intentional or a bad move. The car just turned and got some tire spin and caused a big accident. So, he doesn't want to do that again. So he's going to be fairly cautious, even though he's won this. He's the past winner of this race a couple times. He knows how to win the race, but he also knows you have to get to the end of this race before you could win it.
Will Power, 9-time pole sitter here, had an obvious mistake in qualifying yesterday. He'll roll off 20th. What could Will Power do to get to the front today?
Well, I think it's going to be exciting. You hate to see any bad luck on anybody and them not do well, but Will Power is a guy that's going to be exciting to watch. I think he's going to move his way up front. I feel very confident in that now. You got to always remember he's back there where things happen and a crash or a big pileup happens. He's kind of towards getting into it, so he'd have to watch out for those. But if it can go clean and he can get out in the open and starts playing the strategy and that lightning fast Penske pit crew, I expect to see him. He has an opportunity to win this race. By the way, and he wouldn't be the guy. I think 21st, if I'm right, Mark, is the farthest back
right.
Anybody's won it from. He's 20th. He could win it from there because somebody did it already, but. I keep an eye on that guy.
Sebastian Bourdais was the one who did that from 21st. We look at the starting grid. We say about half the field starting on those Firestone Reds. Explain the tire strategy.
Yeah, so, the rule is here that you have to start on one sticker set of the Firestone softer compound red tires, and you have to run you don't have to start on those, but you just have to run a sticker set, and you have to run a sticker set of blacks throughout this race. So a lot of these guys feel confident that red tire is going to have good management. It's going to last throughout this stint. And I don't know if they're stickers or if they're the scuffs yet. I have to look, but I expect that 2 of their stints will be on the reds and 1 on blacks for most of these guys.
We will update the road to Indy and all of their activities and going on throughout the course of the weekend. Their championship chase is underway as well. We'll do that with Rob Howden when we come back to St. Pete.
Check out the new and improved IndyCar Radio website at IndyCarRadio.com.
At PPG, we work hard every day to develop and deliver the paints and coatings that customers have trusted for over 135 years. We know that paint can do more than just change the color of your walls, because we've built our reputation by solving our customers' biggest challenges. From cars and airplanes to skyscrapers and houses, we protect and beautify the world. Visit ppg.com to find out more. PPG is proud to be the official aero screen of IndyCar.
This is NTT IndyCar driver Will Power. From the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida, this is the IndyCar Radio Network.
Some out-of-the-area law firms advertise that they are the largest. Do you think large firms help your case? Possibly, but your case will receive personal care from local attorneys Catania and Catania. They are family-owned, Tampa Bay attorneys representing clients who have experienced auto and motorcycle accidents. Your case with Catania and Catania will seek to get a settlement in your favor expeditiously. Catania and Catania, serving Tampa Bay families for over 28 years. Referrals on request. Get the local law firm that will care for your case from beginning to end. They don't get paid if you don't get paid. Catania and Catania, putting families first. Car accident, motorcycle accident, call the local attorneys. Catania and Catania. Offices Tampa. Not attorney spokesperson.
The Big 8. 820 WWBA. The Big 8.
Another busy weekend for the road to Indy. Let's catch up with the insider, Rob Howden. A lot of young talent on display on the streets of St. Petersburg this weekend.
Yeah, you know what, Mark? This race normally the start of the season, and we've seen so many drivers who have worked their way through to the NTT IndyCar Series. Kick off well here at St. Petersburg. It's rounds 3 and 4 for the program this year. In the USF 2000 Series, Christian Brooks, the young Californian, coming back for his second year in the category with exclusive Autosport, and the guy that won the final race of 2020 here at St. Petersburg actually came back and swept the weekend, taking a massive point lead. Huge weekend for exclusive Autosport, his team. Christian's teammate Matt Round-Garrido finishing in second on Saturday in race 1. Yuvan Sundermurthy, the opening round winner, in third. Brooks able to come back, a late restart. He was able to get by Kiko Porto on that restart to sweep the weekend, back-to-back jacks for the Californian. Michael D'Orlando, Mark, came in third spot. He was upside down on his head earlier in the day, but finished third in the back end of that doubleheader. Moving to Indy Pro 2000, really it's been a couple of drivers who have worked their way through the road to Indy. Former USF 2000 champions Braden Eves and Christian Rasmussen, both getting wins. Eves on the pole for race 1, able to score the victory to stretch out his point lead. The Rasmussen really was a driver to watch for Jay Howard Driver Development. First year in the series for that team. First year for last year's USF 2000 champion. Rasmussen came back, did a tremendous job getting the win on race number 2. Indy Lights, Mark, you were part of it. Kyle Kirkwood and David Malukas, seems to me like those guys are going to be starting off a pretty cool rivalry throughout the season.
Yep, well done, Rob. We appreciate it, and may actually hear from David Malukas a little bit later on in this broadcast. We look forward to that when we come back. Jake Query, Nick Yeoman will join us. Help set the stage to call this one for you today. We'll also go trackside for pre-race festivities here on the streets of St. Petersburg. The difference between a Hitchman fire suit and others, the difference is safety. All Hitchman fire suits are made with materials that are permanently fire resistant. That's why Nomex remains the standard. The difference is experience and innovation. Hitchman started the racing suit industry over 80 years ago. The difference is quality, value, and customer service. Your suit is an investment in your safety, and Hitchman is committed to giving you the safest and best racing suit along with friendly personal service. Hitchman, why settle for anything less?
This is IndyCar driver Felix Rosenquist. From the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida, this is the IndyCar Radio Network.
Do you despise lawyers? That may be the case until you need one. If you've been in an auto accident and need legal advice, go to the local attorneys that have served Tampa Bay families for over 28 years. Catania and Catania. They are family-owned. They understand your legal situation. When you need legal representation, Catania and Catania will care for your case from the beginning to the end of representation. You won't need to worry. Catania and Catania will represent you through the entire process. Auto or motorcycle accidents are too frequent in Florida. Catania and Catania. They don't get paid if you don't get paid. Referrals on request. Contact Catania and Catania, putting families first. Offices, Tampa. Not attorney spokesperson.
Make some noise! The Big 8.
820 WWBA.
couple of minutes away from going trackside for pre-race festivities. Let's bring in the guy who's going to help us call the action today. A couple of blocks away, but 12 stories up. He can see plenty of racing today. We say good afternoon to Jay Query.
Good afternoon to you, Mark. And once again, it is a spectacular view here in St. Petersburg, Florida. First Street is just below me. And what I can see is all the way down to when they take the right-handed turn that is turn number 3 and then underneath the Syntec Bridge. It is a long 6-block or so jaunt, although it doesn't take long before they take the right-handed turn that is turn number 4, that is 12 floors below me. I am on the balcony of Squaremouth, the travel insurance company that is always so hospitable here. And it's great when I look out over this facility, Mark, and I can see most of it before they go around Pioneer Park, to see the fans that have showed up here in, of course, what are unusual circumstances. And I want to say a particular hello to my friends from Indianapolis that I know are here, Jill Troja and Jeff Wilson. Jeff's daughter Hannah is with us in spirit here, and it is so good to see that they are able to come out and enjoy this weekend of watching the racing under the sunshine in St. Petersburg. Always good to be here and look forward to a great race today, Mark.
Thank you, Jake. Look forward to the call. And they will clear the Mahaffey Theater, set up for the Dolly Museum. That's a very tricky left-handed turn. Triumph and frustration. At that particular corner, calling the action there today is Nick Yeoman.
Yeah, there's no doubt in between the parts that Jake and I will call. That's where the racetrack gets very technical around that Pioneer Park with a couple 90-degree right-hand turns. But you're right, they really start to roar through the RPMs. It's a good passing point down in turn number 10 where you've got all those yachts and race fans on either side of the racetrack. It's a left-hand 90-degree turn. There's curbing to the inside, Mark. If you get there first, get to the inside, you can pull off some passes. But if you swing wide, there is a tire barrier and a concrete wall that can reach out and grab you. Should be fun down there in turn 10.
I want to thank Squaremouth Travel for providing Jake Query his turn position on their balcony high atop the 12th floor of the city center in St. Pete. Squaremouth hosts the largest number of travel insurance providers and policies that offer coverage related to the COVID-19 pandemic, including cancellation, medical benefits. Get an instant quote at squaremouth.com/IndyCar. Let's go trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the CENTCOM Joint Service Color Guard from MacDill Air Force Base presents our nation's colors. Today marks the last presentation of colors for Intelligence Specialist First Class Andy Almont before he leaves for the Drill Instructor Academy. Please remain standing as Chaplain Jason Holt of IndyCar Ministry offers today's invocation.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you so much for the opportunity to gather once again and enjoy some racing. In this moment, we just lift up our drivers, teams, safety personnel, and spectators for your hand of protection to rest over us that we might have a great and a safe day of racing. We also just pray for our brave men and women serving overseas and within our borders, keeping us safe to be able to gather like this. But most of all, we say thank you for the hope and love available to all at the cross of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Here today to honor America with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome the Vox Nova Chamber Choir from Pinellas County Center for the Arts at Jonathan C. Gibbs High School.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's hear it for the Vox Chamber Choir.
Today's flyover at KC 135 from the 50th Air Refueling Squadron from MacDill Air Force Base.
Here's today's starting lineup. Row 12.
Dalton Kellett, Canada.
Jimmy Johnson, United States.
Row 11.
Max Chilton, England.
Ed Jones, Dubai.
Row 10.
Will Power, Australia.
Connor Daly, United States.
Row 9.
Romain Grosjean, France. Felix Rosenqvist, Sweden.
Row 8.
Marcus Ericsson, Sweden.
Takuma Sato, Japan.
Row 7.
Scott McLaughlin, New Zealand.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, United States.
Row 6.
James Hinchcliffe, Canada.
Alexander Rossi, United States.
Row 5.
Alex Palou, Spain.
Graham Rahal, United States of America.
Row 4.
Scott Dixon, New Zealand.
Rinus VK, the Netherlands.
Row 3.
Patricio Ward, Monterrey, Mexico.
Sébastien Bourdet, Le Mans, France.
Row 2.
Simon Pagenaud, France.
Joseph Newgarden, United States.
On the outside of row 1.
Jack Harvey, Lincoln, England.
And starting on the pole.
Colton Herta, United States of America.
Hey Siri, play IndyCar Radio on TuneIn.
Get ready for the ride of a lifetime. And take a trip in a real Indy car at your favorite track.
That was incredible.
This is Davey Hamilton. Come ride with me at the next NTT IndyCar event and see what it's like to be a real IndyCar driver. It's the fastest seat in sports, and you should be in it.
That was amazing.
Sessions are selling out fast. Go to IndyRacingExperience.com to make your racing dreams come true.
That was awesome.
This is NTT IndyCar driver Connor Daly. From the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida, this is the IndyCar Radio Network.
Some out-of-the-area law firms advertise that they are the largest. Do you think large firms help your case? Possibly. But your case will receive personal care from local attorneys Catania and Catania. They are family-owned, Tampa Bay attorneys representing clients who have experienced auto and motorcycle accidents. Your case with Catania and Catania will seek to get a settlement in your favor expeditiously. Catania and Catania, serving Tampa Bay families for over 28 years. Referrals on care for your case from beginning to end. They don't get paid if you don't get paid. Catania and Catania, putting families first. Car accident, motorcycle accident, call the local attorneys. Catania and Catania. Offices Tampa. Not attorney spokesperson.
Okay, hit it!
The Big
820 WWBA.
Moving ever closer to the green flag. Last year, IndyCar made a pledge to support diversity and inclusivity through the paddock and at each of our events. To get an update on some of those initiatives, let's check in with Katie Kyle, who's with a member of the IndyCar community who's on track with diversity.
Tim Lane is the fueler for Felix Rosenqvist on the number 7 car with Air McLaren SP and a transporter driver. Tim, first of all, how did you fall in love with racing?
I believe everybody loves racing. I just grew and grew with it. You know, like when you're a young boy, you race your dad or your mom, and so you always love racing. And then you start seeing the cars go fast and feeling the power, so you just get more involved in it. And that's all this was. I just got more involved in it and wanted to get more involved in it.
What's it like to be a black man in this sport?
It's eye-opening. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, too, you know. It was to the point where I'm like, I got to be on my A game because I didn't want to mess up or stand out. I wish that there's some way to let young black people know that, hey, you can come out, you can seek this, you know, whether it's a driver, engineer, working on the pit crew, mechanic.
When you came into the NTT IndyCar series, there wasn't really that much diversity. Where have you seen the series take big steps, especially within these last few years?
I'll give a big shout out to Roger Penske for the whole Force Indy team. I think that's a very big step, and for them to push their name out there with it, to give them some backing, it helps for the young generation. I feel like that's what you got to aim for. Any race, any nationality, you want to see someone like you there. and you feel a little bit more inclined to do it. And I feel like that was a big step for Force Indy. I'm here, yeah, but I feel like Force Indy's story is out there. We got young kids out there driving, mechanics, managers, saying that, hey, we can do this too. Everybody can do this. It's here. You have to want to get it, you know?
I'm Katie Kyle. That's On Track with Diversity for the NTT IndyCar Series.
Thanks, Katie. You can hear more of that interview on our website. Go to IndyCar.com/radio and click on podcast. The command to start the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg when we come back.
Open wheel racing at speeds over 220 miles per hour kicks off the 25th season of Speed at your home track. Scott Dixon, Graham Rahal, James Hinchcliffe, and more headline racing's fastest doubleheader weekend. Featuring the Genesis 300 Saturday, May 1st. Followed by the XPEL 375 Sunday, May 2nd. The NTT IndyCar Series on its fastest track will be legendary. Tickets are as low as $25 for adults, $10 for kids. TexasMotorspeedway.com.
When the IMS Radio Network needs to hear every word in one of the loudest environments in sports.
Right under Ray, right in front, Simon Pageant.
The IMS Radio Network depends on racing electronics.
He just called his team and said, guys, this race car is unbelievable.
When you're at the track and you want to hear what the pros hear, use what the pros use. Racing electronics, scanners, headsets, and more. Online at racingelectronics.com or stop by the Racing Electronics trailer when you get to the track.
This is NTT IndyCar driver Marcus Ericsson from the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida. This is the IndyCar Radio Network.
This upcoming broadcast on WWBA The Big 8 is brought to you by the law firm of Catania, personal injury, motorcycle accident attorneys.
Office Tampa.
Not attorney spokeswoman.
Hey guys, you know what industry has been booming the past few years? Sports ownership. Teams are constantly changing hands in the big leagues and the minor leagues. But how do you find these opportunities? Well, you won't find them on Twitter. Contact the experts, Whitecap Sports Group, based right here in Tampa Bay. Whitecap Sports provides exclusive consulting services to sports team owners and the folks interested in getting in the game. Sports ownership is not just for celebrities, athletes, and billionaires anymore. You too can be an owner. Visit whitecapsports.com. That's whitecapsports.com.
Sports, information, entertainment.
This is the real world.
AM 820, 96.7 FM Tampa, 98.3 FM Pinellas. JP Peterson calling sports as he sees it. Weekdays 3 to 6. Big 8.
The Big 8.
The Big 8. 820 WWBA. The Big 8.
Less than 2 minutes to the command to start the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Want to bring our driver analyst Davey Hamilton back into the mix. And Davey, looks like pit window, first one going to open up around lap 27, then maybe get to lap 65. We mentioned Will Power starting 20th. Anybody deep in the field bold enough to attempt a three-stop strategy?
I think so, guys. I think there are some guys gonna attempt it, and I think the guys that we'll see do that though, if a yellow comes out early. If a yellow comes out early, I expect Power, Grosjean, Rosenquist, Ericsson, Sato, McLaughlin, those guys that towards the back half of the field, I see them jetting in, getting some fresh tires, getting a load of fuel so they go a little bit farther than the guys in front of them and then just play the game out. We know we can make it in two, guys. And last week, the two-stop strategy was the way to go. The three-stop didn't make it. So, but what do you have to lose? It's hard to pass on track. So, yes, there will be some three-stop strategies out there.
Much is made about turn one and the difficulties leading up to turn two, but throughout the course of yesterday and today, a lot of the issues with that straightaway that leads to turn four and the straightaway that leads to turn 10. Those are two troublesome spots, Davey.
They sure are, guys, and that's the one where guys we see the runoffs being used up at those areas, and they're the passing zones. Fun to watch getting down to those areas, but you can go 4 wide going into those corners, guys, but you can only go 2 wide through them, so it's always exciting to watch it.
Kart ran here in 2003, no one at 04. The IndyCar Series returned in 2005. Joseph Newgarden goes for the three-peat. Let's go trackside.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in all of sports. Here to give the command, please welcome today's Grand Marshal, wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
I got it.
Are y'all ready? Everybody ready?
Racers, start your engines.
"24 cars roll to life along the starting grid." We mentioned Joseph Newgarden looking for his third consecutive win on the streets of St. Petersburg, so we thought who better to take us on a lap around the streets of St. Petersburg. Joseph Newgarden has our course description.
Starts off with a long front straightaway going into turn one. Toughest part of the track to try and keep people behind you, but the best opportunity for overtaking. Flows right into turn two very fast. Hard to keep the car underneath you. Super fast corner into turn three directly after that. Right into the next best passing opportunity, turn four, big braking zone. And then it gets really tight. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all tight section. Hard to get around people, but really important to keep your rhythm up. And then you come off turn 9 onto the back straightaway through the kink, coming into turn 10, which is another braking zone. You could potentially pass people, get through turn 10, and you're shooting right to the final chicane on the track for 11 and 12. Get through that chicane nice and clean, and then you're working on a hairpin of 13 and 14 to try and get you back on the front straight.
Thank you very much, Joseph Newgarden. Good stuff, as always, as the cars that leave the grid. We want to check in with our pit reporters one final time before we go green, see who and what they'll be keeping an eye on this afternoon. Let's start with Ryan Marine.
Mark, plenty of fantastic stories in the first half of the pit lane. Simon Pagenaud trying to recover from an invisible outing, so to speak, at Barber Motorsports Park last week. He'll start fourth here today. How about his countryman, Sebastian Bourdais? He's got 2 consecutive top 5 finishes in NTT IndyCar Series competition for the AJ Foyt Racing team, looking for a third here on a track he has already won at twice, although apparently having some issues leaving the grid. But also very curious to see what the youngster from the Netherlands can do. Rinus VeeKay qualified 7th, but was not happy with it whatsoever. He told me after that qualifying effort, "I've got a car that should be on pole." He's going to be starting on a set of sticker red tires. Watch for the Dutchman to be aggressive right off the bat. Certainly one to keep an eye on as he seeks his first NTT IndyCar Series win. How about you, Michael Young, on the other end of the pit lane?
Well, very warm day. That's first and foremost. The ambient temperature 82 degrees, track temperature 104 degrees, but it's the humidity. 84% humidity as we stand at the start of this race today. I'll be keeping my eye, of course, on Scott Dixon. He's been on the podium oh so many times. One of the few tracks he has never won on. Obviously, Pato O'Ward will be very good here today. Alexander Rossi, can Joseph Newgarden three-peat this afternoon? Can Jack Harvey get his first win? And how about Colton Herta? He has been fantastic thus far this season as far as the qualifying goes. Just had that rough start last weekend. Colton and Jack Harvey will start on the alternate reds. Newgarden and Pagenaud will start on the blacks. We'll see how tire degradation goes. Looks to be a two-stopper. Going to be a fun one today here on the streets of St. Petersburg.
And the good news is Sebastian Bourdais was able to get that car underway. He has left pit road and will join the field. How about the guys going to call the race for you today? Let's start by welcoming back in Jake Query.
Thank you so much, Mark. I am watching Colton Herta try to get a little bit of heat in those softer compound red tires. It was a radio problem for Sebastian Bourdais that has him hustling on his horse, trying to get caught up back to the field as everybody works their way through that turn 4 and 5 combination. Again, when you take that right-handed turn number 4, you've got to be very careful because you don't want to get too high to the outside lane because you have a left-handed turn number 5, and if you get too high, you can end up in those Firestone tire barriers. So you want to make sure to be careful. Everybody working their way here. The sun has decided that it would like to watch this racing unfold, Mark. There were a couple of clouds in the sky that it was tucking behind just a half an hour ago, but now it has come out and is drenching this racetrack in what should be an excellent day of racing here in St. Petersburg.
Single file as they head toward turn 9, 10, and 11, Nick Yeoman.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We see Sebastian Bourdais hustling his way to catch the rear of the field. Just got past Dalton Kellett as he's going to try to get up there, Mark, to take his starting position in the 5th spot. Pace car making its way out of the final hairpin. One more parade lap, it looks like, here on the streets of St. Petersburg. But it is a beautiful field of 24 cars. 1 to go being given to Colton Herta, our pole sitter. Everyone making their way out of turn 10, Marcus. We're set to go racing here in St. Pete.
Good friend Tom Hansing in the flag stand this weekend here on the streets of St. Petersburg. And Davey Hamilton, good news for these drivers in terms of track conditions. This thing about as grippy as it's been all weekend long?
It tracks as best as it's been and as good as it's going to get. And, guys, the rain seemed to stay away. Little chance of some sprinkles about 11 o'clock today. They've diminished. It's nothing but sunshine, a few light clouds. So, guys, it's going to be a great day for a race.
Yeah, Nick, we kind of had our fingers crossed that maybe we'd see just enough to maybe affect the tire strategy and go to those wets for a handful of laps.
Yeah, it's always interesting when there is rain in the area. There's always that chance, but it looks like, at least for now, the sky is cleared up. Things are looking good. And Mark, good to report. Sebastian Bourdais, that car refired. Everything good with that radio issue that Ryan Marine was talking about. And he has rejoined in his starting position in fifth.
Multiple winners here over the years. Joseph Newgarden, as you mentioned, has won the last two after Bourdais had gone back-to-back. Juan Montoya went back-to-back. Will Powers won here a couple of times. James Hinchcliffe, a winner here. Elio Castroneves with 3 wins. The late Dan Weldon, of course, won here along with Ryan Briscoe. Paul Tracy won the first race here in 2003. And so I guess when you get it figured out, it stays figured out. And that's been the case of late because we've had back-to-back winners going back to 2015 and Juan Montoya. So Herta and Harvey on the front row. Joseph Newgarden, Simon Pagenaud, and Sebastian Bourdais through the first couple of rows, along with Pato O'Ward, VK, Dixon, Rahal, and Palou, the top 10. Looks like a pretty solid formation off of that final turn back onto that airport runway, which serves as the straightaway. The twin green flags fly, and Colton Herta is going to grab the top spot as they fan out about 4 wide behind him. And now they go 2 by 2, although back in the field about 10 positions, they stay 4 wide. Looks like everyone so far is in pretty good shape as Colton Herta holds on to P1.
That shape for Colton Herta is good because he has himself a 3-car length advantage. Sebastian Bourdais might have the most action behind him. It's Rinus VK trying to take a peek to that 5th spot. He is not able to make a move, but Romain Grosjean further back in the field managed to get inside of Felix Rosenqvist through turn number 5.
Yeah, Bourdais got into the back of Newgarden's car there in turn number 1, right into the right rear tire of Newgarden's machine, but everything starts to settle in as it is Colton Herta leading the field to turn number 10. It's about a 2-car length advantage over Jack Harvey. Another 3 back to 3rd place running Newgarden.
Front 3 or 4 already gaining some measure of separation. Good for Joseph Newgarden. He got that little bump on the start, and it did not have an impact whatsoever on that car. Meanwhile, Sebastian Bourdais is the aggressor most assuredly as they get back to the start-finish line to complete lap number 1. He is literally tucked right up underneath the wing of that car of Simon Pagenaud. They make the right-handed turn. They stay right there, hooked up nose to tail as 3rd place Joseph Newgarden starts to pull away from Pagenaud and Bourdais as they set up for turn 4.
French battle for 4th because right now it's Simon Pagenaud that has it, and Sebastian Bourdais, his countryman on red tires, is right behind him. But they again stay about a half a car length between the two of them. Everybody now clean, everybody single file as they work their way.
Joseph Newgarden, but it is Bourdais all over the rear wing of that Team Penske, that Australian gold machine mark through turn 10. Looks like Simon Pagenaud will hold on to 4th.
Surprisingly clean start, Davey. Things look like they were going to bottle up down there in turn number 1, but everybody settled in nicely and we're single file.
I only seen one bump, and that was actually Bourdais in the back of Newgarden. And looks like he does have a little bit of nose wing damage, guys, on that right front nose wing. Doesn't look major, but I seen some on the end plate, maybe a piece wiggling around there a little bit. The guy that did do good on the start, how about Pato O'Ward, losing 3 spots, going from that 6th position down to 9th.
Herta, Harvey, Newgarden, Pagenaud, Bourdais, the top 5. VK, Rahal, Rossi, O'Ward, and Dixon, the top 10. Hunter Ray is 11th, Hinch is 12th, Sato, Palou, and Erickson through 15th. Then it's McLaughlin, Grosjean, Rosenqvist, Daly, and Power through 20th. Jones, Chilton, Kellen, and Johnson as they start to set up to head toward the Mahaffey Theater and into the view of Nick Yeoman.
Yeah, we got a good battle for the 5th position shaking up as Bourdais has lost track of Simon Pagenaud. And Mark, he's got Rinus VK all over the rear wing. Yesterday, VK, a little frustrating qualifying 7th. He thought he had a shot for the front row, thinks he has a good car, and he is wearing out the French veteran Bourdais as they set up for 14.
Yeah, Graham Rahal, Alexander Rossi are trying to keep pace with that battle, and Scott Dixon also looking to move up. But not so much for Rinus